Thank you. Very, very good answer. Thank you. Ashenafi.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adam. Hi, everyone. I just want to focus on those 2 pointers. What are the two challenges, the top 3 challenges, and the lesson learned. So I think, if I have to begin from the challenges, one of the challenges in Africa, we already have a lot of problems. So one of the challenges is the health service and the infrastructure issue. It includes the supply, the service, the infrastructure, and everything. We have that problem. So that has not been solved. The second one is the way of living. The way we live together. In some areas, there are migrations. In some areas, there are dispersed. And most of the people are in the countryside where the health service is not available in Africa. So it's difficult for us to fight and to combat this pandemic. And the third one is the response. How are we responding to the challenge that we're facing? Some countries, they just issue state of emergency. Some just lock down the countries. And some other countries, they take their own measures. So these are the top 3 areas in challenges that we have been facing. And the top 3 lessons that we have to learn from this pandemic is, one is the emergency preparedness in Africa. It has been so poor so far. We know it from malaria, TB, HIV, and other diseases. So we have been so poor on emergency preparedness. The second one is the alerting system. The alerting system. When we say the alerting system, we don't actually know how many people have been infected in Africa, to be honest with you, because we already know from the tests that have been conducted, and the number of tests conducted are, most of them are 2,000, 3,000. The maximum that we have seen is from South Africa is more than 50, 60,000, but in other African countries, only 2,000, 3,000, not more than that. So the numbers that have been displayed on this COVID tracking system, it doesn't show the actual number of people that have been infected and that have been prone to this virus. So that's one of the problems that we have faced from the alerting system. The third lesson that we have to learn is information. Information. How can we get the right information? As have been described earlier by the other panelists, there are too many information that have been displayed now. So it's difficult for us to know which one is right, which one is not right, including the materials, the devices, how we have to use, how we have to implement it. So we have these 3 things that we have learned from this pandemic. I hope we can develop this discussion with question and answer. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashenafi. And people are asking, you're from Ethiopia, but you also represent, through the Working Group on African Activities, about 17 or more countries. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And next we tee up.
Tom, just
go ahead. Go ahead.
We have a question going on the chat box. However, for the faculty to answer your question, please go to the bottom of your screen where it says Q&A. Hit the Q&A and you post question will go directly to the panel. To the panelists, please visit the Q&A so you can answer questions. For example, Doug Dreps, when you're coming up, there is a question about what are you doing about PM nowadays? So please prepare to answer that.
Right, delayed PM and so forth. Yep.
Next, we're going to Claudio Meirovich from Spain.
All right. I'm not going to be talking from the hospital point of view. I'm, as you know, I'm a consultant and I'm working a little bit around. Since I'm in Spain, well, you can read in the news what we are doing and what is happening here. So I'm not going to be adding anything to that. But I think there are a few things that are important to mention that we got here in Spain, and I think it's going to be a lesson we can learn from. We could see, and this was part of the discussions in CED groups, that lots of people got interested in ventilators and the need for them, and they wanted to start building them. So lots of different groups started developing things. Some of them were already developed them for a long time. And at some point, some people said, wait, this is not something you can do just by yourself. There are standards you need to check. There were students saying, well, we can do that. We are doing biomedical engineering. So at that point, I think it was really good that in our case, our agency, IMEPS, said, well, if you want to build something or design something, you have to go through us, and we're going to help you. And if you do not know how this works, you can come to us, and there are guidelines. And as you know, ISO and also INOR made free standards for everybody to look at if they wanted to check them. So I think this was a great opportunity for learning. What I think it's important in that case, as in some case we were discussing also with Stefano, is we need to make sure that we don't harm people, so that anything that we do, even though it might be an AMBU mechanical ventilator, that it's something that will not harm the patient. So that is something we have to come up to say, wait, let's make sure that doesn't happen. But at the same time, we also need to check what is the situation that we have right now. In many cases, we can go on with standards and say, okay, this has a CE mark or not, so we can buy it or not. But in some places, for example, in Spain, let's say we have 3,000 ventilators or ICU beds. It's okay. We want another 2,000, but we already have 3,000. In some countries, they do not have more than 120 beds. And so anything that could help them solve that issue could be better than nothing. Now, we have to find that ethical point of what is good or bad. You were talking about this issue about ventilating more than one patient with one ventilator. All the companies, when all this popped up, said, look, this is what you can do with my device. So I think many of those things are, right now around the world. But what we need to do with all this information, as Hussein was saying, it's very good that we have information, but we need to be able to process that information. There is so much information. I can see, for example, Elliot saying now, yes, yes. There is so much that you're telling us. Sometimes we're not even able to process all that. So we have to take a step back, relax a bit, and see if we are able to process all that in order to move ahead. This is what I think are some of the learnings of this. We can talk also about the changes as some of you were talking of manufacturing and procurement. I can see right now that some countries are trying to buy stuff, let's say ventilators or monitors, and when they want to get to the purchase order, they say, wait, I haven't seen your 485 certificate. And when you check that, you say, hey, wait a second, this company is not allowed to manufacture this kind of stuff. They should be manufacturing maybe masks or something else. So there is a lot of people trying to work on this, and you see them blocking all this process. If we had some kind of, process where all these companies were already cleared by those agencies that we have in our governments, we would be able to say, well, this company is already in this list or in this database. This product from them is already in that database. We should be able to buy it. Right now, we're doing all this work all by ourselves, or different teams in different countries are trying to do this. And I'm not going to say wasting, but using a huge amount of human resource and time to try to get to an answer or to a product. And when we finally get to that, the product is not there anymore, or the price has doubled. So we need to find other ways, creative ways to solve that, because what we see at the same time is our countries are not able to solve that.
Okay.
These are mainly my, well, the learnings I see from this. I leave the questions open. If there was a way to make things faster, I have no idea about, I mean, I have several ideas, but I'm not sure.
Claudia, we need to move. Thank you.
Yes.
Very, very important comments about procurement and sharing with some ethical answers to the question, who is getting what.
Yeah.
We'll move next.